Hello everybody. I'm at Port and Agnes. This is going to be like a rollout, so whatever. It's a little different when I post them right away after I make them. I had to take my wife's car to the shop, and that's my little mechanic over there. Agnes, I see a cop right behind me. But this is, by the way, my mechanic, who is Oscar. He owns this. Oscar's he owns a little chicken shack over here. So Oscar's kind of like got this whole area. But he's going to do some work on my wife's car. And I took it in yesterday at 8:30 when he opens. But he couldn't get to it. So I got up early, like at 3 yesterday, so I could finish all my work. I was doing some writing and teaching. But I had to bring it back. So we'll see. I'll wind up. It's going to take a few hours. I'm walking down Port. I wasn't sure if I would try and catch a bus, but I think I'll walk to David Martin's house. It's a few miles, but that's fine. I like that. David lives all the way down in government housing over here. So we'll see. Now this morning I did a teaching video. I made one, which will be Acts 12. I might make a few comments right now, and a few maybe news things I tried to hit on. But it was interesting because in the Acts 12 teaching I did earlier, we do read about King Herod. And I gave the history of the different Herods in the New Testament. The Herod mentioned in Acts 12 is Herod Agrippa I. He was the grandson of Herod the Great, which was the one who tried to kill Jesus. And Herod the Great was the one who slaughtered all the children from 2 years old and under. We read that account in the Gospels. And the Herod Agrippa was his grandson, which is the Herod in Acts 12. The main Herod we read about, okay, these are titles, family line names in the New Testament. But the Herod that beheaded John the Baptist and also tried Jesus was Herod Antipas. He's the main one we read about in the Gospel. So the Herod in Acts 12 was his nephew. Okay? But either way, the Herod in Acts 12 goes and gets Peter and imprisons Peter. He executes James, the disciple. Oh, somebody's car keys right here on the ground. He executes James, the disciple. Peter he puts in prison, and everybody's happy because it looks like Herod's going to be killing the inner circle of Jesus. The three disciples, Peter, James, and John, were like an inner circle, so he killed James. Then he's going after Peter, and an angel supernaturally delivers Peter. Now, I don't want to teach the whole thing again, but you'll find it interesting because this kind of fits some of the things I talk about. But at the end of the chapter, Herod, this whole line of kings was wicked and was persecuting the church. And he gives this speech, Herod, in the end of Acts 12. This would be a little preview. And it says, he sat on his throne, gave this great oration, great speech. And the people said, this is the voice of a God, not of a man. The Bible says, the angel of the Lord killed him, smote him. And in Acts 12, an angel delivered Peter out of the prison cell. And it just kind of seemed like maybe it was that same angel. And God, the scripture says, he rules in the affairs of men. And it was almost like God said, Herods, your whole line has been killing my people. And you slaughtered all the babies. Your grandfather killed all the babies. Fulfilled the prophecy of Jeremiah. Rachel weeping for her children because they are not. That's when Herod slaughtered all the kids from 2 years and under. We read in the Gospels because the wise men, Herod called the wise men in, said, and where is the Christ? The wise men were warned to flee. Joseph has a dream, the stepfather of Jesus. Flee, Herod's going to kill him, they're going to Egypt. And it just seemed like at this time, the angel of the Lord said, no, that's it. Judgment's come to the house. And Herod gets killed. So I made a few comments on that. I also wanted to make a few comments on some news things. Yesterday, the new district attorney of Corpus Christi, who is Mark Gonzalez. He exonerated Hannah Overton. Hannah Overton was a woman that was unjustly convicted. Many problems in that case, but she had a foster child by the name of Andrew Bird. Andrew Bird died under her care. It's a very famous case, made it to national media. Now, Hannah did 7 years in prison. They charged her with charges. This was the former Mark Skirka, and there was a lot of wrongdoing done in that case. It came out in our local media. So Mark Gonzalez yesterday not only told Hannah, we're not going to retry you, because Mark Skirka, after all of the wrongdoing was exposed, former DA, he kind of threatened, I'm still going after you. He's out, Skirka's out, Herod's out. But Gonzalez, the new DA, not only did he say, we're not going to try you again, but he exonerated her. He said, you're not guilty, which makes her eligible for compensation from the state of Texas for wrongful imprisonment. So that happened yesterday. I felt that was important. The news of the week now, I don't know, today I might, if I do a video with David Martin, I'll let I'll upload that also. David Martin is new on Facebook, so now some of his friends might be able to see a little of the videos I did with David, which would be good. And this is port. I don't know what side street this is. So that's just a little update. You know, it's funny. I'll just make another comment or two and upload this. A lot of my friends I've known for so many years, and a lot of them don't know. You know, sometimes they don't know each other, and I just assume they all know each other. But a few weeks ago, I'm thinking, because David Martin is new on Facebook, and then my friend Crow told me, oh, I got an invitation on Facebook from David Martin. I said, yes, David just got on. Crow does not know David, I don't believe, but he knew Andy, knows Andy, and knew Huey, and I know Crow. But then Crow was asking me, he says, don't they have another brother? Because I guess he got a friend's request from a Don Martin. And look, I sometimes lose memory. I said, Don Martin, no, that's not a brother of David. Then I told Crow, no. I said, that's Whistler. And Crow knows Whistler. Whistler was one of my friends that was homeless for many years. And Crow knows Whistler. And I said, no, Don Martin is Whistler. So a lot of the guys, it's funny, they don't know, you know, they know nicknames and stuff. But, and then Bobby Johnson, who you saw a video. Bobby the other day, look, Bobby got arrested the other day. I wasn't there, but he was, you know, they drink and they get drunk at the park. Look, the cops have the right, if you're drunk, you know, they can get you for PI. So I heard Bobby got arrested and went to jail for a few hours. But Bobby was telling me last week, John, when are we going to go back to San Antonio to do another meeting? I used to do those meetings with Larry Martin, who is Whistler's brother. But Larry is no longer in San Antonio. Because I see sometimes, if Larry, you watch these, I don't really talk much on Facebook, but I see the little comments every now and then. So I told Bobby, no, Bobby, those days have ended. But it's interesting because you meet people on the journey. Larry Martin, who is Don Martin's brother, who is Whistler, who I knew for years. I just met Larry a few years ago when he came down. He wasn't from this area. I remember we went out to the island. I was helping CJ. She wanted to sell beads. She made beads. But that day I talked to Larry, who was with Whistler. And he was just getting into God. He had some experiences up in, I think, Oregon area or California. And he just was starting the journey. I said, that's so good. And that's kind of how the journey is. Now, I might wind up in San Antonio later. My system's a little off because I had to put things, do the carving. The other big news was Trump fired Comey, probably rightfully. And there's so much, is it a secret, is it a Watergate, when Nixon fired the guy investigating. To be honest, I just watched the news, and some of the testimony Comey recently gave, why he didn't go press charges on various people, just me watching it. Others in the Justice Department always thought Comey actually, because he even made a statement I saw. I didn't have to watch I didn't have to listen to commentary, I didn't have to listen to liberal or conservative. But Comey recently, the former FBI director who was just fired, Trump fired him, they asked him in the hearings, I saw a few of them, and why didn't you, press charges against Huma Aberdeen and all? I don't want them to press charges on him, but it was, and he said, well, what we understood, we didn't feel there was in any intent. This is the whole email scandal, the server, Hillary Clinton. There was no intent. Look, a fair reading of all of that. You know, if you're under if you're under investigation by the FBI for wrongdoing, whether it's the Hillary email, and people say, oh, nothing was done wrong. The very fact that Congress subpoenaed her server, and after they said to her, you're under investigation, all don't, after that is when she, quote, wiped the server. Look, you're basically getting rid of evidence because you know you're under investigation. And you know, there was a whole month of emails on the whole Hillary thing that were never found, about a month. And it was surrounding the Libya debacle. And why were those missing, you know? Did it have anything to do with private emails that Hillary said she was protecting about weddings? If you destroy evidence when you're under a congressional investigation, all of that is not right. I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. But the liberals will never see that. The conservatives on this. So he fired Comey. More than likely, when that recent testimony came out and you heard Comey say, well, I didn't go after Hillary or whatever any further because we couldn't find intent. The law actually said concerning confidential top secret information, which was the accusation against the Hillary thing, those that know about it, it says you don't have to have intent if you just handle it in a wrong way. That's also considered a crime, those that have top secret clearance. I don't see a big scandal. People wanted to get rid of Comey because they felt, and of course my liberal friends, it's a cover-up, Trump's getting rid of it. Look, the FBI is still investigating the Russia connections. And you fired the top guy, the investigation still goes on. So this is the first update for today. This is Port and Morgan Street. I'll probably walk about just a few miles now. And I'll see if my friend David will get on the thing, okay? This is number 1 for today.